GM, welcome to GM Good Music, the music NFT podcast where we explore the future of music and the artists paving the way. I'm your host, Josh Savage, and before we delve into the series, I'm just going to dive into what inspired this podcast, why I'm doing it, basically. I'm a music artist myself. I'm self-managed, I'm self-booked, I'm an independent artist. I prefer to have creative control myself. I've been in the music industry for 15 plus years. First and foremost, I'm a music artist and I've had an interesting start into the music industry. All I wanted to do was see the world and play music. And so I ended up emailing a ton of people, I think 600 people, and try and get a tour booked myself. I didn't wait for a record label, anything like that. I just really wanted to get started. And I only had 20 people get back to me. However, that was enough to get the ball rolling. So I did a UK tour and that went a lot better than I expected. And based on that response, I booked another tour. And 10 years later, I'm still doing this today, which is an absolute honour. And I feel very privileged to do so. I'm from the UK, raised in Paris, and now based in Berlin. I made a living from my music from touring the world one living room at a time. That was a really special way to build an organic fan base, a loyal, loving community all around the world. And that allowed me to grow from living rooms to arenas, sharing the stage with idols of mine such as Snow Patrol and Robbie Williams. Now played 700 plus shows on 4 continents. And of course, then the pandemic hit and I had to completely re-strategize. Had a huge life crisis, as we all did. And was like, shit, what am I going to do now? So I started exploring other avenues, and one that caught my eye is, my girlfriend at the time said, oh, you should buy some crypto, you should buy some Dogecoin. And my thought was, great, I'll spend the little that I have and that's going to make me a millionaire, and then I can make as much music as I like with that. And of course that didn't happen, and I got wrecked in the process. However, it was a very valuable lesson, considering I had no idea about finance at the time. I was a typical musician who just wanted to play music and was very tunnel visioned in that way. However, I just became curious about this space, especially about the communities behind it, especially considering I was so lonely within the lockdown as well. I didn't give up. So I was like, I'm going to learn about what's going on here. This is quite interesting. And this is the first time in my experience that I discovered communities in a digital way, meeting people all over the world who basically became like your best friends. And actually that reminded me of these living room shows that I used to do, touring these So Far Sound shows everywhere. And this is something I really needed, especially at the time, considering the lack of community we had in the lockdown. And I started exploring the space a lot more, learning about NFTs. If you don't know what an NFT is, it stands for non-fungible token. They couldn't have come up with a more confusing name, but it's a digital artifact per se, which opens a lot of opportunities for creators and creating connection with fans in a digital way. We'll be diving into that more into the podcast, especially as I'm speaking to my guests about this. Anyway, started releasing my music as NFTs and could not believe the response I got from that. People were buying music again, and that blew my mind, especially considering people expect music for free, which is very frustrating, especially considering the amount of time and investment that we put in. And it's getting harder and harder to get a return of investment as an artist and to keep creating. And yeah, for a little rundown, if you don't know, the streaming income is $0.004 a stream. And if you're signing a major record deal, depends of course, but most of the time you're signing away 80 to 85% of your future income away. And this is why I've always wanted to stay independent and have my own creative control. and it's a lot of work, but I love the journey of it. And I was just blown away into this journey in Web3, meeting all these incredible people all around the world, discovering some amazing talent from artists on the other side of the world. And it saved my career. It saved my music career. I was able to make a living from my music again. And then when things opened up, I had some capital to reinvest in my career to grow. And I got invited to tour with Snow Patrol and Robbie Williams. And that would not have been possible without this space. So I'm creating this podcast so that I can share these stories about how we did it. It might not be the right way for you to do it if you're an artist, but I hope it shares a little bit more of how we're doing it to suit our journeys in our own way. And by all means, I hope that you then adapt it to keep it authentic to you. If you're a music fan, I hope this shows the power of this technology and how you can get closer to your favorite artists. In short, I like to think of music NFTs as Kickstarter and Patreon on steroids, but you can make some wins along the way as well. Anyway, I don't want to give too much away, so I'll stop there. If you like what you hear in this podcast, subscribe to the channel. That's going to help us grow so that we can keep doing this, and share this with a friend if you think it's going to help them on their journey, whether they are a artist, fan, or just might be someone interested about what we're doing here.